So hello mathematical literacy learners, welcome to the revision channel. So I'm going to try and squeeze in this video where we are looking at capacity. So I have a can with me, luckily, and this can is 300 milliliters. So let's start with what is capacity and what is volume. So the way I differentiate it is I think of volume as the space occupied by an object, a 3D object. So this is the space. And to calculate the volume for this can, I would use volume is equal to pi r squared h, right? That's the formula. And then I would use units of measurements like millimeters, centimeters, meters, kilometers. And therefore, my volume would be millimeter cubed, centimeter cubed, meter cubed, or it would be kilometer cubed. So that's when I'm talking about volume, right? And then when I'm talking about capacity, I think of capacity as what my can is capable of carrying inside, right? So what it is capable, using the word capacity, what is capable of carrying inside. And therefore, I think of liters, liters, milliliters, centiliters, and kiloliters, right? So let's go again. Volume, millimeter cubed, centimeter cubed, meter cubed, kilometer cubed. And then for capacity, I think of milliliters, centiliters, liters, and kiloliters. That's how I separate them. So, but what we do is we use the word volume and capacity interchangeable. So I can say the volume of this can is 300 milliliters. But when somebody says to me, the volume of this can is 300 milliliters, I immediately think that's capacity, right? So what you can do is, in order to have volume, you can convert the capacity, which is 300 milliliters, to volume. And you can convert the volume to capacity, right? So if I want to calculate the height of this can using the volume formula, and I have the diameter, and I have the capacity, which is 300 milliliters, or someone else will say the volume, which is 300 milliliters, what I can do is I can convert 300 milliliters to either centimeters cubed, or meter cubed, or millimeter cubed, and then substitute on my formula and calculate my height. And that's what we're going to do right now. All right, so we're going to switch to writing mode. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, what I did was I measured the diameter, and the top of our can is circular, like that, right? And then if you look at from the side, it's like that, right? So I did measure the diameter, and we found that the diameter is 5 centimeters. And the height, I did not measure the height. We're going to use the capacity to find the height. Okay, so we said our can, remember we said our can is 300 milliliters. Oh. Okay, so our can is 300 milliliters. So let's say it says volume is 300 milliliters. So the first thing I'm going to do is, at the moment I hear milliliters, I'm like, volume and milliliters, come on, that's capacity, right? I can always convert capacity to what? To volume. Okay, so now they say calculate the height of the can with this information here. Okay, they're going to give us the formula. Volume is equal to pi r squared h, and they're going to say pi is equal to 3,142, right? So we are happy with that one. Let me use this to keep my paper steady. It's moving too much. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that everything that I substitute here, the units of measurements, are correct. I'm also going to first check what are they asking me to calculate, which will be my unknown, which is the one I don't have. The question says calculate height. So I'm going to go to my formula after writing it and say this one is the unknown. I like to circle it, underline it, or put a star. That way I mustn't substitute anything here. And then I say, okay, I must have volume, I must have pi, I must have radius squared. Now, if I substitute volume here, I'm going to have a problem because volume is in milliliters and my diameter is given in centimeters. Also, this formula doesn't have diameter. I need what? Radius. So I'm going to start with my radius and calculate my radius. Radius is equal to diameter divided by 2, which is 5 centimeter divided by 2, and that's 2,5 centimeters, right? So that's sorted. We have the radius. And now I'm going to come to my volume. My volume, as you can see on the conversion factor, it says 1 milliliter. This would be given to you, is equal to 1 cubic centimeter. Right. So I'm going to use this to convert my what? My capacity to actual volume. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write my is equal to, this is how I convert. You can convert however you want. So I have 300 milliliters, so milliliters, and my volume in cubic centimeters, I don't know what it is, but I know it's going to be in cubic centimeters, so I'm writing it this side. Then I cross multiply. 1 milliliter times unknown is equal to 300 milliliters times 1 cubic centimeter. And then I divide by 1 milliliter this side and divide by 1 milliliter this side. And then that's 300 times 1 divided by 1, which will equal to, if you use the calculator correctly, our unknown is actually 300 milliliters. Now remember, our unknown is what? It is volume. We are converting capacity to volume. Therefore, it's 300 centimeter cubed. It was 300 milliliters. Now it's 300 centimeter cubed. So we can now move on to substituting on our formula. We have 300 centimeter cubed is equal to pi. Pi is there. 3,142 times the radius, which is 2,5 centimeter, and that is squared, times the unknown, which is height. At this point, I need to sort this out first. So I'll say 300 centimeters must wait for me, and then I'll say pi wait for me, because I first want to square this. 25 centimeters squared times height, right? So now I can multiply these two numbers. So 300 is still going to have to wait for me. 3,142 times 6,25, 19,6375 centimeters squared times height. Remember, we're calculating the height. Do is I'm going to recopy all of this so that I can find the unknown. Divide by 19,6375 centimeters squared, and that cancels that. But when I do this side, I must come and do this side. So I divided by 19,6375 centimeters squared. I'm just going to take a ruler and measure it. So my ruler is saying it's 13 centimeters. So we're close. We're almost close. We're so capacity, right? So this is capacity. 300 milliliters will be your capacity. And then you can use it interchangeable with volume by converting capacity to volume. Now, you'll find a question that might say the box is, if a box is, the length is maybe 10 meter cubed and the breadth is 2 meter cubed. And then they'll say the height of the box is 3 meter cubed, and they say calculate the capacity. So the question says calculate the capacity. Now remember, capacity is what this box can carry, right? And I usually measure it in milliliters, centiliters, and all of that. So what they will do is they will tell you that 1 cubic meter is equal to 1,000 liters. Or they will tell you that 1 milliliter, 1 cubic centimeter is equal to 1 milliliters. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm talking about here. So they will assist you. They will not leave you hanging. Okay, so now the question says calculate capacity, and we're given the measurements, or the length, the breadth, and the height, or we have it somewhere. Even if it's not completely given, we can get it. So what do you do in this case? The volume here, the formula you'll be given, volume is equal to length times breadth times height. So here we have to calculate the volume. So here is the volume here, and so the next step that we're going to do is we are going to substitute. Our unknown is volume here. So our volume is equal to length. With our length is 10 meter cubed, making sure that all the units of measurements are the same. Our breadth is 2 meter cubed, and our height is 3 meter cubed. So what we do is we're going to multiply these, and this is our volume of this. Now they said calculate the capacity. So the next step now to get to capacity is to say 1 cubic meter is equal to 1000 liters. What is this box capable of carrying? So 1 cubic meter is equal to 1000 milliliters, right? So now I'm saying 60 cubic meters is equal to unknown, and I cross multiply. So 1 cubic meter multiplied by unknown is equal to 60 cubic meters multiplied by 1000 liters. 1 cubic meter is multiplying, and the opposite of multiplying is divide. So we're going to divide by 1 cubic meter so that we have unknown on its own, and we do the same this side, divide by 1 cubic meter. Therefore, unknown is equal to 60 times 1000 divided by 1. I always do everything. 60,000 liters, right? And that is how you get the capacity. So capacity of this container is equal to 60,000 liters. They might say write it in milliliters, which means you might have to convert it to milliliters. And that is how you get capacity.